Tottenham till I die, Spurs die hard. Tottenham till I die. Tottenham till I die. Tottenham till I die. Spurs die hard. Tottenham till I die. Tottenham till I die. Spurs die hard. Tottenham till I die.
Hello and welcome to the Wednesday edition of Spurs Diehards TTID, Tottenham Till I Die. Wherever you are, guys, wherever you Spurs fans are, what a difference a game makes. Eh? What a difference. There are so many positives to take from last night's game. I'm not going to waffle on too long because I know lots of people in the UK got work in the morning, have to get up and all that. So I'm going to introduce my guests and we're going to get straight into it. So, Coach Dave, welcome back to the show. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. And like you said, yeah, what a difference a game makes. Yeah, definitely feel a little bit better than I was Saturday night, Sunday morning, Sunday night, Monday morning, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Another regular friend of the show, Kev Clark, and Tom, who's a fellow admin, his son, who's a fellow admin on the show. How are you, Kev?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. Fortunately, I didn't see the Chelsea game, so perhaps I wasn't suffering as much as other people. But yeah, it was good to be there last night.
And Ian, co-owner of the show, and also a fellow admin. How are you?
Yeah, very good. People, regular viewers will know I've been critical of Mr. Frank's team selection and therefore the inevitable tactics that went with it. He made a major tactical change yesterday. Well, a couple of major tactical changes, and it worked. And seeing the Tottenham side playing on the front foot, granted it wasn't the strongest opposition, doesn't matter. All you can beat is what's in front of you. And we played good, entertaining, enterprising football. We probably should have won by 6, but that's a different story. I'm not greedy, not at all. This is Thomas Frank. He needs to understand that's how a Tottenham team plays at home, whoever we're playing.
Right. For those newers watching us on various platforms, what I normally do a synopsis of actually the game for those that can get a chance to see it and go through it. We don't go through every point, obviously. And then we discuss good individual performances or bad ones or whatever and the team. So I'll start with you, Dave. This was the team. What was your take on the lineup when you see it?
Good to see Sarr back. You know, he was a standout at the beginning of the season. For me, I think, you know, in the first few games under Thomas Frank, Sarr was almost like a player reborn. The player that we bought from Metz or loaned him back or whatever the case may be. And it was good to see him back and getting a start. The trust in Xavi Simons in the middle of the park and also Moani. So that kind of spine for me, I think, was the key. Sarr, Simons and Moani to see how they would combine. Obviously, Polina having a bit of a rest, given the impression to us all. Obviously, you want to see how they start, but the impression that therefore we wouldn't be having this kind of defensive or quote unquote negative play. So yeah, it was good to see that kind of spine through the team, something where, you know, a bit more combination play, and I'm really excited to see what Moani can bring once he gets up to full fitness. I don't think he's even there yet, even though he does look an exciting player.
Kev, we met at the game with Chris Peters. What was your take on the lineup when you see it?
When I first saw it, I thought, well, that's probably the strongest we can go, perhaps without Polina there. But as often been said, playing Polina and Bentancur at home, that doesn't always curry favour with everyone. So I thought it was probably given the injuries and everything else we got, it was probably our our best starting lineup, to be honest. It was as Dave said, seeing Sarr back in the starting team and carrying on with Simmons as well at the start, I thought was good. Back four was obviously almost picked itself with Spence having a knock, didn't it? But yeah, no, it was good strong lineup.
Ian, your take on the lineup?
Well, I've said, and Kev may have picked up a couple of shows. Dave maybe hasn't. I've been incredibly critical of playing both Bentancur and Polina. One, because I don't think in home games that, against Wolves and against Villa and what have you, you need that. The second thing, complaint I've had is whoever you play further forward, whether it's Xavi or whether it's Bergvall or whatever, will inevitably get isolated if you're playing three players with one forward player. They just hunt them down in packs, and Chelsea did it to perfection. Playing Sarr, allowing him to play up alongside Xavi, gave Xavi more freedom. Sarr is an excellent player, and Bentancur really flourished. I've got a saying that when Bentancur plays well, Tottenham play well. And I thought Bentancur was exceptional last night, almost without the shackles of having Polina alongside him, funnily enough. I thought it was his best game. Just in terms of formation, I mean, I was looking at it. It's always difficult on the telly, but it looked to me we were much more of a back three than a back and a back four. And I think as well, and it's something I've said on shows on my own stream on Sunday, Adrian, that I think we're best suited to playing three at the back with the squad, and it also meant we could squeeze the midfield, and again that was creating space and possession for the likes of Xavi in key areas. So I thought everything about that lineup, and I say I'm critical of sometimes of Frank and his conservative team selections and tactics. Last night was excellent, and look how well entertained we all were.
Yeah, I threw a little banter grenade in the WhatsApp group and all that, saying, like, will VDV play? Because if he picked up a third yellow card, he'd missed the game against PSG, and do we need him more and all that? And so I was just raising a question there. I didn't think we played a back three. I just think that they played a 4-4-2. So when we had the four at the back, Spence was a little bit further forward than the three. It was sort of like a doggy. Sort of like a 3.5, really, I suppose. But that was that, But I thought the lineup, the midfield, we couldn't go any stronger than that. Really, we had no one else fit enough, did we? So that's that, and and we'll get into that.
Just a quick one on that kind of back three idea. I think so. We saw it briefly against Everton. We saw it against Everton. We saw it to a certain extent against Newcastle, where I think they're saying it's like a 3-2-4-1 in possession. So Destiny goes quite high. So our left back goes quite high. Porro tucks in next to Van der Ven and Romero, and then you have two in front of him. So obviously yesterday that was Sarr and Bentancur. And then Simmons and Odegaard. So Odegaard's kind of tucking in a little bit, and you saw some good combination plays. Simmons, at the moment, because of adjusting to the league and his performances haven't been up to scratch for a player of his reputation and his price tag. He thrives in situations where players are close to him. He can have combination play. Everything can be seen and it's tight, and the technical ability around him is there. So I think getting a player like Odegaard and Mawani close to him helped him yesterday. But you don't lose the width because you've got Destiny out wide. And as a natural left footer, man, when he goes on those runs, and he gets to the byline and he cuts it back. We saw it at the beginning of the second half, didn't we? Johnson was unlucky, doing his trademark, shuffle to the shuffle into the box and see if we can nick it. It was actually really reminiscent of his run for the Bilbao goal, isn't it? The Bilbao goal. So shades of that. But no, it was good. Also, and I didn't say it earlier, but it was good to see Destiny back as well. And I think I'm a massive fan of Jed Spence. Massive fan. Most days I think he should be our starting right back. But that's a different conversation for another time. But for me, as a left back, you've got to have a left footer. It just makes so much of a difference for us. You know, we have to have that honest. You've got to keep the fullback honest, you know, and they know that we've got that run down to the byline. You know, Spencer's not going to do it because he always cuts in, or he's going to be more comfortable, you know, on his right foot. So it really helps us, you know, to have that natural width on both sides, I think.
I've noticed in a couple of games actually where the left back or the full back is pushed on a bit further than the other three at the back. It's like they seem to alternate it a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely last night. I mean, Destiny and Odebear were swapping places in that first half, especially because I'm on that side of the pitch, even though it's right up the other end of the pitch because I'm in the south stand. So can't really see a lot of what's going on sometimes, especially when you've got a giant standing in front of you, which didn't help matters either. But for sure, Destiny was pushing on more, but he was inside and then he was outside, and so there was definitely a good understanding between those two. I did get a bit frustrated at times when they didn't push into space when they had the chance, but in general, because we played most of that half in their half of the field, you know, we were able to push up and have three at the back, and you know, there was just a bit of a lack of movement to my mind, but that was about it.
Yeah, and I don't know if you see the game on television, but the start off, I'm coming to you now, the start off was interesting with Simmons, who we'll talk about a lot for this game, right? He was in the coolest position on the right. He was linking up with Destiny and Spossname on the left, and then he was in the middle. I think he was. At first, I thought, he's going to stay on the right because I'm watching. Because I think, because you never know what Frank's doing. I mean, what was your take on Simmons's positioning? Really, he found space easy yesterday.
Well, but I think you see, but this is my point, and I think that I wanted to comment on Brian's view there because he's really echoing what Kevin said. Even Brian, if you're still watching, and about the balance. Before I come on to Simmons, just one thing. I've only seen a couple of games this season, but one of the things I picked up was there seemed to be an instant rapport and understanding between Porro and Kudus on that right-hand side that we didn't seem to have on the left. And I agree with the boys that on the left-hand side, we seem to be replicating that with Odebear and Destiny. And I mean, I agree totally. That's why I put Brian's comment up. That I think if we've got that kind of understanding on the left-hand side with a player like Destiny who can go outside on his left foot but can cut inside, or the other one can cut inside and what have you, and Kudus and Porro can do the same, you're going to give defenders an awful lot of questions to answer in that. And with Simmons, I think again that with Sarr there alongside him, you really can just say, almost as if what Kudus did in I can't remember which game it was now. It must have been the away game at Everton, I think, when he seemed to have very much a free rein to go where he wanted to do the most damage. And I think that would suit Xavi Simmons an awful lot. You know, in that final third where he can hurt teams. And I know he didn't score and he hasn't scored yet, but you got glimpses. If you know people dissing him already, you can see he's a footballer. You can see he's a proper footballer, and just give him the time, give him the ball, and he gets a goal. He got an assist yesterday. He gets a goal, and I think it will take off for him. The same as Moani, and you may want to come on to Moani later. So I think there was a lot of promise, but much as we all love Spence. I think perhaps he can be used a bit more to give Porro a rest, not on Saturday, but to give Porro a rest and to play Destiny more often on the left hand side. With a boy Takai, if I pronounce that right, to come in, that can give a little bit of respite to Destiny and of course to Mickey, who I'm surprised he's not still exhausted from his run yesterday.
I believe Takai can play right back as well, which might come in use. Who knows? Dave, it seemed to be that a lot of fans have been going on about, you can't play Poloni and Bentancur. I disagree with that. I think for certain games you can do it, and it has worked. When things don't work with a club, fans are quick to say, change this, change this. There's always a knee-jerk reaction. But it was noticeable that Bentancur wasn't cramped. Like there are times those two are getting each other's way, don't they? I mean, what's your take on the pairing of them two when
So
together.
in a pivot, right, and I think not every pivot, but the way Frank sets up his pivot, one of them pretty much covers that real defensive role, you know, and that's obviously Polinia. And then the other one is asked to go out into wide areas and does a lot more of the work in terms of running around, covering a lot of ground. And Bentaker's never been suited to that.
Yeah.
Whenever, you know, we saw it under Ange, you know, whenever the game gets really stretched, Bentaker really disappears because he's not an athlete. He's just not, you know. So the problem that we had when you've got the two of them playing is that as long as the game is tight and it's right in front of them, they're fine. You know, so Villarreal, you know, it's a very nice and tidy game, etc., etc. You know, you can ping it about, etc., etc. Nice. But as soon as the game gets a bit stretched or there's a bit of tempo, a bit of athleticism, especially in the wide areas, and Polina's like, I'm not going out there because, you know, he's not the quickest and he's not the most mobile. It's about like how Højbjerg used to be. I'm not going, you know. So Bentaker's got to go out there and he gets spun, he gets, you know, twisted around, whatever. And then it's horrible. So that's out of possession. In possession, he's then not finding those passes because whether it's exhaustion, whether it's, I don't know, whether it's just the style of play, it's very safe, it's very recycled. I think the forward line is too far ahead. So the difference is when you put Sarr in there, Sarr naturally, we saw this when Sarr came in, played in that 3-4-3 game under Conte against AC Milan, I think it was, when he played in that double pivot in the middle, and he was all over the place. Just, you know, he hadn't played for a while, you know, but he was all over the place, picking up, you know, the ball in all different areas. He's comfortable picking up the ball on every blade of the grass, it seems. So for him, he can do all that work, and Polinia or whoever's next to him, yesterday was Bentaker. Bentaker now just stopped. I'll just do the controlling, you know, I'll pick up the pieces in the middle. You go and do the foraging out wide, and when you're on the ball, you drive it forward. And Bentaker therefore can just sit and shield. So I think for me, moving forward, it's a Bentaker or Polinia, especially at home. You know, I've been saying this for weeks. It should be, you know, if I have to go with it, you know, as much I love, you know, you lot know, every time I've been on here, I've been raving about Bergwijn, you know, since day, you know, absolutely love the kid. But, you know, he's out with concussion at the moment, so Sarr's a good option, you know. You go with Polinia and Sarr at home, and you've got an athlete next to him who is comfortable getting about the pitch, going out to the touchline, winning the ball back, and then trying to pass or hitting it down the line or, you know, pushing it forward. And we saw that yesterday. Bergwijn would probably do the same. That's what I believe as well. You know, those are the kind of decisions I think we need to be making moving forward because it immediately activates. We saw it yesterday. Sarr won the ball back. It was in the first half. Maybe like I think we scored, so it's 1-0. It's the 35th minute. The game had kind of lost a little bit of tempo, and I think they won the ball back from us in just behind Destiny, and then literally Sarr sprinted across, interception, turned around, and he's launching it forward. And you can hear the crowd go, yeah, you know, let's keep this going. It's just you buy yourself another 90 seconds. You buy yourself another 2 minutes to get nearer to half time or you know, to build up another attack. Those kind of things are key and crucial, I think. So I'm a massive fan of his. I love the fact that he's come through. He's come through quite a rough patch personally. You know, things are coming out, you know, now in the press and around the channels in terms of, you know, he's lost a mate, you know, to quite a shocking incident back home in his home country. Plus his injury that he had. Hopefully he can now get on a run of form. And we all know he loves playing against Man United.
Scored a few times.
Last night was a warm-up.
Yeah.
You know, so
you know, the world's covered with 71% water. Sarr covers the rest.
Well, yeah, you could say that's a not bad one, Adrian. Sarr, we know he's got the engine to keep going for the whole game, and you know he will cover that bit. I think that we're gonna, when we've got everyone fit, we're gonna have such an array of talent that could fill those three midfield spaces. It is going to be difficult sometimes, I think, for Frank to see how he how he starts the game, how he moves people around during the game, and he will be picking, I think, a 3 for whatever team we happen to be, whether a home or away, and the best he thinks it. At the moment, he's still a little bit limited because we haven't got them all there, and so it virtually picks itself sometimes. And if you have to have Bentancur and Polinia playing together, well, that's the way it is. But at the moment, we've only got sort of 3 or 4 of them that we can manipulate about. But I think when they're all back fit again, so Gray, Bergvall, Madison, and are all also available, then it's going to be interesting how he melds them together, I think. But yeah, last night it worked well. I mean, Copenhagen, they sat back in the first half. They let us have possession, and there was a lot of passing around between Romero and Van der Ven at the back, and not a lot of movement up front. And then until it came in sporadic bursts, there was a bit of movement for the goal, for Johnson's goal. All of a sudden, there was a bit of running and all that sort of thing. So yes, it was much better. But I still think there was a bit of a lack of movement from the middle of midfield, and the two wingers sometimes. That I was sitting there frustrating, pass, move, and that sort of thing. And I was sort of shouting that no one could hear me, of course. So, but there we go. But in general, it was a good game.
Ian, if you can handle the chat, because
I'm fine. I mean, I've got it up there. Just I did highlight
that's fine.
Peter.
Peter Kagger's big friend of the show down in Australia. He's always gifting membership to virtually every podcast in the community. Big up, Peter. Yeah. Paramedic, shows what a kind of guy he is. He's a paramedic down there doing his stuff.
Yeah. I mean, just with the boys talking about the pivot, Adrian. Mm-hmm. I mean, my problem. We got a situation where we're under Ange. There's no pivot. There's no holding player. And that if I had a pound for the number of times when the opposition team were breaking through of us, and there's 3 opposition players running at 2 defenders in 40 yards of space. I mean, I just see that goal time and time again. And now my issue, I don't mind us playing. Two holding players in a pivot, but in a 4-2-3-1 or in a 3-5-2. I have a problem with playing two pivots in a 4-3-3, particularly at home, because I just think we were getting swamped. Whereas I think playing one yesterday, and Dave, I can get your take on this. I just felt that with Copenhagen probably weren't going to hurt us that much. Man United might. That's a different story. We'll perhaps talk about what we might do against Man United. But I think if he's going to play 4-3-3, which seems to be his favoured formation at Tottenham, rather than the 4-2-3-1 I assumed he would play, then I don't think he can play 2 holding players. I just think we lack creativity, and people are complaining about the forwards, but the forwards aren't getting any quality ball. And if the forwards get quality ball, for example, you take Johnson. I mean, Christ, people criticise Johnson, but the way he took that goal was absolutely superb. And it's actually the same against the Burnley goal he scored, where again he was given a lovely ball. And when you put him in that position, his ability to hit the target is pretty good if he gets the supply. So these are the questions. This is what these people get the big bucks for, and we sit in a studio and pontificate. But I just feel we can play 4-3-3, got no problem with it. But one holding player, not 2, unless of course we're trying to hold on to a lead. Then it becomes then it perhaps becomes a different scenario.
Or unless we're away at PSG,
away at PSG, no problem with that. And away at Everton, where you're playing a very different game. You're saying we're going to absorb pressure, and we're going to go with set pieces. We're going to try and go for fast breaks. No problem with that.
Yeah. It's got to be horses for courses, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I think you three are all season ticket holders. I think And you will know, and I'll know from my history with the club, that Spurs fans expect their teams to get the ball and get on the front foot and attack opposition teams. And I just think with the lineups he's played, it's proved to be very difficult unless you're going to play long ball. So anyway, look, that's my view. I think he got he asked the right questions yesterday and got the right answers.
Yeah, Dave. I mean, the subs, right? For those who don't know that are watching on various platforms, you are allowed 12 substitutions on the bench in the European competitions, and we only feeded 12, and 2 of them were goalkeepers. So it shows what the injury problem is. It's not a long. I mean, it's not like we got a horrendous injury list that's going to go on for days, because most of these will be back after the international break. But you're a bit threadbare on the bench, Dave, isn't it?
Yeah. I thought with the opposition that you might see maybe some of the younger ones to fill it out a bit. Maybe, obviously we've got the phenoms or whatever you want to call them. Luke Williams, Barnett being the obvious one, or maybe Janai Byfield. But I don't know what it is. I haven't kept up in the past few weeks. Are they injured? Are they playing? Have they got a European game for this? Or I don't know where this game falls in their season, and whether it was going to be useful to have. So I also think, again, it's going back to the midfield pivot. I think it's about profiles for me. Whoever you play, just get the profiles right. If you need someone to destroy things and whatever, then there's this option. If you need an athlete, there's this option. If there's going to be loads of big spaces, you can't go with you just can't do it. You're going to have to go with Saar. Even if it's Saar Bentancur and then Polina comes to show up in the last 30 minutes, be brave, do. It sends out a message to your team and how you're going to try to approach the game, as opposed to being a bit more conservative. But with this substitution, this sent out a message which said the first 11 got to win it, because you think about it, in terms of, I don't know who Ralswell is. I think
he's a fullback.
Yeah, so you've got Polina, obviously defensive, Spence defensive, Dances defensive, Ralswell defensive, 2 goalkeepers, 2 kids, and then Richarlison, who's desperately out of form, and Scarlett, who is 5 years still the under-21 under kid. Do you know what I mean? So it was much, scraping, but could us, if we were playing PSG last night, could us been on the bench? Maybe. It could have been a situation where, a player that's 60% fit may get a shout, but we're also in a position where you give them a chance to rest. And I think like last week with some players just missing out. And Frank he's done all right in that sense, to give some players just more time to. He's not one of the coaches, unlike the predecessor, who's going to rush someone back for the sake of it. And we saw obviously last year when we played Chelsea and Van den Ven and Romero were both rushed back, and we saw that in the long run. So we have to be careful, but at the same time, I'm hoping that Kudus can be back for the weekend, and then we've got an international break. If you're injured, stay home. If you've got a knock, stay home. We should act like a big club and make those phone calls to the FAs that we need to. If you're English, stay home. You already qualify, whatever. Oh man, let's we've got a massive one. Obviously Arsenal and then PSG and some big games before Christmas. This is where I see
they're all hard games, aren't they?
Yeah, that's the thing with our league. And Jerry Siemens will tell you that firsthand. This is not an easy league to play in. It's not an easy league. There aren't easy games. So we have to be smart with it. I'll be interested to see when Kulusevski's back and how that impacts midfield selections in terms of not only 4-3-3, where's he line up? Does he see him as direct replacement or competition for Kudus? Does he see him in the 10? Does he see him out left? Does he see him in the midfield role deeper? Be very interesting to see how that plays. But he'll be a massive help because he is a bit of a Swiss Army knife, isn't he, as a player? So yeah, let's see how it pans out. But I'm glad we got through that game and got the 3 points because PSG next, and then you're looking at some next games where you think if we can pick up those points, we should be fine.
I think Kula will be back on the grass in December, and then in January, Frank will have another hard choice to make, because depending if we bring in foreign players in the January transfer window and Kulu comes back, who also on a Champions League spot, and remember we're already left Tell out the squad anyway. This is where he gets paid the big bucks to sort this out then, because picking that Champions League squad is not going to be easy, because whoever gets left, we're going to be leaving quality out. Let's move on to the game though.
Sorry, just quickly, would it help if a Brazilian striker left?
That would help. It would help if Basuma went as well. Or they could be told quite simply, look, especially if we bring players in, look, find another club you want to be in the World Cup, because you're not going in the Champions League squad. Both of you are not going in the Champions League squad. So, and that might encourage them to leave in January. So it's the hard facts of life, and we've got to start being ruthless with the squad.
Guys, can I come in here? I mean, we desperately need, say, 2 or 3 English qualified players to balance the squad without having to obviously leave out foreign signings we bring in. And I mean, I just don't know who those players are or where they come from, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the thing with that, Ian, and you can come back at this is the fact that you're talking about January. You've got a month to do your transfers in. Clubs that are involved in winning competitions, even foreign clubs, or involved in relegation, they're not going to want to sell their players.
No.
I mean, I'd love to get Adam Wharton in, but you're not getting him in January. We might get Vlahovic in. I'd take him, but off of unless he's back in favour now, because he's been playing recently, but his contract's up in the summer, and the way they want him to cut his wages, well, we can give him the same wages. It's not a problem. So it's not easy, is it? I mean, it's not easy in January. We've done well in the transfer window. So, I mean, we have brought in Dele Alli, we brought in Porro, we brought in Romero, we brought in Bentancur and Kulusevski. We brought them. All right. We also brought in Danjuma, I think, and there will be a couple. But for bringing players in January, we've done with the quality we brought in has been pretty good.
But it's probably even harder now, though, with the changing format of the Champions League, because we're still playing Champions League games through January.
Yeah,
and so is everyone else, and so are the Europa Leagues and everything else. So, as you say, people aren't going to want to give up players whilst they're still in those competitions, and so it is going to get incredibly hard, I think, to pick up any decent players in January this time round.
I mean, you hear stories though, because we know most of the European clubs are still feeling the after effects of COVID and loss of gate revenue and things like that. The Italian league, their skin. I think if you pay the money in the Italian league and the Portuguese league, I think you can go and get players, because they are that desperate for money that they will sell. But it's still not easy. But there's a 10-man scouting team. For those who don't know, by the way, on the recruitment side of it, Rob McKenzie sits in front. He's got 10 people under him in the scouting. Got Max Leggett, we nicked off of Bayern Munich. He's the scout in Germany. I forget the scout's name, who's based in Portugal, and the one in Italy. There's 3 there. There's 2 UK ones, and there's 5 scouts that do the analysis as well, right? So he's got 10. So it's a big team, and that's before you get to the manager, and your managing directors, and your 2 sporting directors that we've got now. Before you even get into them, there's a big team at Spurs now. There's been big changes for the better, I believe. Anyway, a little bit of info for you. Moving on to the game. This is how we started. I'm not going to dwell on this too much. 8 minutes was the 7th effort deflected for a corner. 17 minutes free kick, Porro shoots over. Then we get to Ian's bit. Kev, 19 minutes. Xavi assist. Johnson scores for a tight angle.
Yep, I mean, it was, I think we said Saar won the ball, went to Sabi, didn't it? And it was a lovely little clip over the top of the defender. Don't know what their goalkeeper was playing at, coming out like he did, but Johnson actually went round him. Amazing. And then, a good slot into the far corner. So it was a great finish from Johnson. And but I think their goalkeeper, he had a mare for the second goal as well, really. He if he had got Johnson, then he would have been off. So it was a very strange move by the goalkeeper. But yeah, it was a great ball from Sabi, and sort of lit up where everyone can see what he can do.
Dave, I mean, with Johnson, I mean, the fan base is mixed. They're on his case. When he scores a goal, they fall in love with him again, yeah? But, I mean, where he caught my eye, I didn't want him at the club when he first come, but I've warmed to him. I mean, last season against Coventry away, when he was taking all that abuse, which was wrong in social media, the way he chipped the goalkeeper and took that goal so coolly against Coventry away before Spence sealed the points, to tie for us, that was a turning point for him, I think. And he went on and scored 18 goals. So, top scorer. And at times, I get the fans, like, you think, well, what does he actually do during a game? So they must see a lot of him in training to keep picking him and playing him.
Yeah, for me, it's highly frustrating from my perspective watching him, because it's like a dead spot, isn't it? It's just, the game just kind of stops when it gets to him. Anywhere apart from a back post tapping, or a near post kind of cross, flash across the box. I think for me, it's one of the ones where and I've said this on other shows and whatnot. When you've got to have so many things go right in order for you to be successful, it also limits you as a player and as a team. And you got to think, to get a back post tapping, you think about what has to happen, Angie's like perfect goal, as it were. Damn, this happens, fullback comes here, this inverts, this person inverts, and we get this break, and then we cut across, and the other winger comes off, and then he hits it in. Fantastic. How many times does that really happen in a game? It's quite unrealistic to have everything so perfect, but that's a very training ground type goal, So from a training perspective, he is very robotic. He can do the same thing every so often. But games are not like that. Games require a bit of invention. They require a bit of ingenuity. There's chaos. There's the ball doesn't break the same way each time. There's a bit of spin on the ball. There's a bit of whatever, and that you see fall quite there and whatnot. Now, saying that, he took his goal yesterday very well, and it was good to see that, in a situation where, we were dominating the game, we didn't have that many clear-cut chances, but, in terms of dominating possession, we just needed to get that breakthrough. And, love him or hate him, time and time again over the past 18 months, when we've needed a breakthrough, he's been the one. All the group chats I'm in, no one really rates him, but he's undefeated in that, tight game, and it's like, oh, Johnson. So he popped up in the right areas, and he took the goal well, and there we go. So we move on. But again, for the rest of the game, obviously he got sent off, later on, but there wasn't really much else that we saw from him to really kind of, wow, I can compare his impact to maybe Kudus, who's just relentless in the way he attacks his fullback, and getting crosses in, being giving us something to get yourself off the seat or whatever. Johnson's not that kind of player, but 19, 20, 21 goals now, 25 goals in his Tottenham career. You can't deny the facts and the stats there. So he's still there.
Ian, Frank said something interesting in his press conference, which I picked up on, which probably relates to training as well. He said, because we know Johnson doesn't take his man on that often. He does rarely, but he doesn't take it that often. And we know he picks up, he's got good instinct in and around the box because he's got all them goals. But the thing I picked up on Frank was, he said he can get in behind the lines. He can get in behind defences. So that tells me they've obviously worked on that, as Dave's alluded to anyway. So what's your take on Johnson? That was such a tight angle that any striker would have been proud of that goal.
Absolutely. And I was a big fan of his at Nottingham Forest. But of course, he played in that sort of inside forward old style role just off the main striker. And he was very, very good at it. And again, I think it's horses for courses. I just feel that the 4-3-3 is an Ange formation and what have you. It's not what I was used to with Thomas Frank. And I just think, when you look at the squad and you look at the players and you look at the way he wants to play, if you want to play Johnson, I mean, I'd love to see Johnson play. I'll bang on about this up top alongside someone like Moani, who can hold the ball up and feed him into little spaces, with a in a 3-5-2, for example, which would allow the two fullbacks, but Udogie and Porro, to really push forward. You could then play your double pivot if you really wanted to. Because you'd have three attacking midfield players and two forwards, or if you wanted, you could play one and you could play Sarr and Bergvall, Sarr and Xavi and Bergvall, with Johnson and Moani up front, and not be found wanting, because you've got three high quality central defenders there. I think we could do better with the personnel. And if you're going to play Johnson knows where the goal is. I mean, it was any top striker would be over the moon at the quality of that finish. His control, he's at the ease with which he beat the goalkeeper and found the far corner. But it's horses for courses for me. Pick a formation that suits the players you've got. But that's just my view.
I think he's now where he might have been a definite starter. He's now a squad player. He's a squad player now. 39 minutes, Dave. Marnie yellow card for dragging back. I can't pronounce his name, so I'm going to give it a minute.
Elianusi.
Okay.
Played for Celtic for a while.
And then I was at the game with Kev. I don't know what he thought of this time, but you and Ian were obviously watching on the telly. And then there's good work from Obertbert and Simmers. And Marnie, this is that class. I mean, like, he had the whole goal and he went for the inside post, didn't he? How did he miss that? I love the player. Don't get me wrong. I love him. I think he's a fantastic striker.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that he was doing that, of course, Richarlison doesn't do, was bringing the ball down when it's coming up to him and actually controlling it, even though some of the little passes and things weren't quite coming off at the edge of the area. But that header, I think I could have got that header, even with my glasses on. It was frustrating. I mean, there was an even more frustrating one from Richarlison in the second half. But and it's such a good opportunity for him to get off that mark, wasn't it?
He's another one, I think, Dave, that just needs a goal, isn't he, Moani?
Yeah. But you know what? Everyone was saying that in all my group chats last night. He just needs a goal. I'm like, look, he's giving me everything else. The way he's plucked, like you said, seeing a striker being able to pluck the ball out of the air. You've lived with Richarlison for 10 games. It's a joy. And about 3 or 4
times. He's got great vision and touch and a good pass on him as well, isn't he? Sees quickly.
And he's always had that. He's always had
presses.
He's always had this coming through the ranks. Always had this. And I was excited, in terms of, the signing, to get him in on loan. Not only could he can play across the front three, but just his technical ability, and he's got that edge to him. He's been at big clubs, so he's like, well, come on then, let's do this. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. We need to be better. We need to push better. We need to, play better. We need to have a bit more, better link up, etc. But that chance there, man, everything was so nice and precise. It's one of them goals that you think you want to clip up and just go, yeah, this is it.
If Richarlison missed that, he'd have got no end of stick, wouldn't he?
Oh yeah. He definitely got a new signing bias there. Yeah. Everyone just went, he needs a goal.
But Ian, 6 minutes later, and he missed another. And again, Simmons again at Miami misses City, heads over. I mean, again, it looked easier to, like even Kev said, he could have scored. I don't know what these look like on telly.
It looked wide open.
Yeah.
Like there was no one around him.
That last one, I mean, from where I was, right down in the south end, it just looked like him and the goal.
Yeah.
And
Ian,
Well, there we go.
come to you now, right? You're all right. You can hear me, yeah?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. Come to hear me because he now redeems himself. 51 minutes 2-0. Katarski's clearance, but Moani's running at him to press him like mad. He clatters into Moani. The ball loops in the air. We're all thinking, where is it going? I'm going to stand all up anyway. It comes down. He took it with one touch with his foot, right? He brings it down. Instead of getting greedy and thinking, I'll move in, and then like allow off to Odegaard. And that Odegaard, they reckon he's the most skillful player at the club. Madison's the second most, like. But Odegaard, he just placed it.
Oh, but the touch. I mean,
Fantastic.
you know, look, any of us can get a ball 30 yards out, whack our laces through it and see it fly into the corner. And we don't do it very often, or we'd be pros. But we've all whacked one, and it just, Jesus, did I just hit that? But not many of us can bring a ball down like that, kill it stone dead, have the time and what have you to look up, pick a pass and what have you. I mean,
it must have been spinning like crazy as well because of the way it came off the keeper. I mean, from where we are, we're on the right winger's side of the south side, the south stand, and it was going across the goal, and we're all thinking he's got to either volley it or heady it straight into the empty goal, and he brings it down, and we're all going, "Oh, what's he?" It was because we couldn't quite see how far he was away from the goal when he actually brought it down.
Mate, for me, I thought the ball was going out.
I did as well.
And I thought, I'm looking at it on the TV. I went, okay.
We thought he was going to head it.
I thought it was going out, and then all of a sudden he's plucked it out of the sky, and I went, all right. Then I did think he was going to shoot. I thought he was going to, cut in, and he needs a goal, doesn't he? Let's be faithful. Strikers are selfish. I thought he was going to cut in, try to shoot from that angle, and then it would have been blocked because there was a guy about to dive
on the line. It
would have been blocked. But no, he just slipped in his mate, and Odegaard just.
But it was the touch of a proper footballer, wasn't it, Dave?
Oh,
I mean, a proper footballer.
Yeah, that's the one you go, go either side with your mates, smash it up in the air, and that one guy just pulls it down. You go, he's
all the guys with us. I think Kev was the same. Everyone around me, they all wanted, like, although it was very empty, the stadium. We've got to be honest. The ones that were closest to me, they were all wanting, like, we all wanted Moani and Simmons to score, because we're all waiting for them to get their goals, aren't we? And I'm standing on the east. I'm up at the 5th floor, right in the heights. So I'm seeing it's coming to me, but it's still hard. It was still hard when the ball pinged off the goalkeeper. And it was still, you didn't know where the trajectory of the ball was going to go. So you're looking at Moani thinking, like, well, where are you going, like? But he moved quickly to where the ball was coming down. Take it down in that one touch, like.
Someone just said in the chat it was a Berbatov type control, and it really was.
Yeah,
it was that type of that control.
But he's shown such good vision for that. Right, that was Dave and Ian. This is to you two because I didn't see this on the. I don't think me and Kev saw much of this.
He looked innocuous from where I was.
Was it? Oh, right. I mean, you see it on the telly. I mean, I've only glanced at it once. I mean, what was your take on the sending off? Do you think it was harsh or? No?
Yeah, I feel it was harsh. It's it's not. It's a bad tackle. He's obviously slid for it, but he's not lunged for him. He's not. I don't think there was any real malice, in terms of going after the player. The player was just a little bit quicker than he probably anticipated. And he caught the back of his leg. But I think it's just made the angle that it looked like, with the studs looking like they're all raised, is probably what convinced the ref on the monitor.
VAR.
Yeah,
VAR called it, didn't
I actually thought he was going to get the ref wasn't going to give it. When he went to I thought, oh, actually, you might be all right here. But here we are.
Ian, you're ex-referee. I mean, he's had to be malice as well. I think David, hit the nail there. I didn't think there was any malice in that tackle. So what was your take? I mean, if we'd lost the game, we'd be screaming about this decision. I would have thought fans would be, but
I didn't really have any complaint about it in the modern game. rightly or wrongly, I think, when we played, Dave, I think, is a few years younger than the three of us, but you wouldn't have quibbled a yellow card for it. Now with the feet on the feet onto the studs onto the back of the Achilles. That's the sort of thing now that happens. Super Spurs TV, by the way, I've got it on in the background. I hate to say that when I'm, a professional broadcaster and highly paid pundit, but Bruges have just gone 4-3 up. The referee's got to look at their fucking monitor again. He overturned the penalty. This is Anthony Taylor, I think it's Anthony Taylor, and they're now going to have a look at what? I mean, I don't know what. Someone said maybe he's got I don't see what's wrong with that. He's slid in. He's played the ball. He's got the ball. The goalkeeper's gone A over T, and he's going to put the ball in the back of the net. Oh, he's disallowed it. I mean, honestly, what a nightmare! What a nightmare! Barcelona should be losing this game. Anyway, sorry. We're back to the
nothing to worry about. We just lost our audience, but nothing to worry about.
In this day and age, you are going to get red carded for that. Okay. The studs were onto the back of the Achilles. It's painful, really painful. FIFA, for all their faults, and I'm as big a critic of them as anybody, it is an area they've tried to, clean up the game with, the ball players not being targeted and what have you. Clumsy, yeah. Vicious, no. Malicious, no. But in this day and age, it's a red probably. So
if you stamp out tackles like that across the board, then I'm in agreement with it. Moving on, because I answered Dave's comment in a WhatsApp group. 61 minutes, Paulina comes on to Simmons, to Dave's comment, and I said, I believe this was purely tactical because Simmons was having his best game in a Spurs shirt, in my opinion. So, tactical, Dave?
Yeah, listen, I get it. I just, and also for me, it can be both. It is tactical because, you want to shore it up, and, this is Thomas Frank. He doesn't like games to be too wide open, and I think he probably would have preferred us to see it out at 2-0, then maybe go to a bit of a basketball game. So it definitely looked like we were going to camp in for 30 minutes with this sub, and I think we all expected that, didn't we? And it was like, okay, but we would have been resolute because we've defended quite well for the most part, and Romero was still on the pitch, Mickey was still on the pitch. So I didn't necessarily have any fear. It was just a shame that it was Simmons that was coming off. Could it have been another player that you then keep Simmons on as a bit of a threat, or just for his own confidence, whatever. But at the same time, I get it. I fully get it. And then in hindsight, you then look at it and go, well, he's only played 60 minutes, and we've got United at the weekend, 12:30. Fine, 60 really good minutes. And then on to United and a 4-0 win. No harm done.
Yeah. And then on 64 minutes, Kev, VDV goes, anything Sonny can do, I can do better. And I'm a defender. So my goal's better than yours, right?
Yeah. I think
that's a goal, though.
The question has got to be, though, was Polinia's assist better than Vertonghen's assist?
Yeah.
Because the two goals, if you've watched you must have watched the videos of showing the two goals together.
Yeah.
And they are so similar. But you've got to give it to VDV as he's a centre half. You've just, in my view, if he doesn't win the Puskas Award, it'll be a travesty, won't it? But yeah, it was a great assist by Polinia, and his little tackle knocking it back to him. But then he just took off, and we're watching him coming towards us, and we're all thinking, "It's Son," And when he just broke through the 4 or 5 of them that were around him on the halfway line, no one was going to catch him then. And he was a brilliant finish as well. And he ran over to our side of the pitch. So even better.
Ian, the striker would have been proud of that. That finish hit it so hard, like a bullet, didn't he? It was virtually under the keeper.
Yeah,
know,
but
before he could move.
seriously, I've got to take Kevin on this.
Go
To
on.
say, we were thinking it was Son. I mean, really, there were 4 blades of grass that Van der Ven didn't actually touch, which Son did on that same run. 4 pieces of grass. Yeah. I mean, seriously, it was exceptional. And he took it. You talk about, Johnson and his ability to finish. I mean, he has a look up. He's picked his spot and he said, right, boom, I'm going into that near corner. And the power as well.
Oh, it's great. Great finish. Great finish.
I think for me, what it is, we all know Mickey has extraordinary pace, right? And we've seen it, obviously, Ange utilised that on many occasions in his style of play or whatever, from a defensive standpoint. But also, there's one thing to be a quick runner. There's one thing to be also a quick runner with the football.
With the ball.
Absolutely.
He was leaving those defenders trailing when he had the ball at his feet.
He literally, and actually when you see it slowed down, ironically, he's not just hitting the ball, he's dribbling with it. So he's actually going in and out. He's manoeuvring it at speed away from the player. So that's why they're not committing to a tackle. Because if he's just knocking it, they might bring him down, get a tactical foul, take the yellow, and whatever, you move on. But he's actually dribbling and weaving his way, a little touch here, little touch there, just to knock it. And then, like you said, once he got into the attacking half, he was off. And that finish, oh, cool. Oh, mate, I screamed. Watching it in the house. Yeah, I know. I think you probably heard me all the way in Tottenham. But, it was incredible. And I think, for me, he's been, I think, our best player this season, all in all. I think he's been super, super consistent.
And so,
he's scored goals. He's played pretty much every game. He's not really had a stretch out of the team. But also for me, what it is, it's, if you think about the context, your team's just gone down to 10. Johnson's obviously off. Chelsea was only just a few days ago. Bit of a firestorm. Did you ignore your manager? Are you pissed off? Etc. Etc. There's all this talk about getting a new contract, this and that, and the third. You've been captain a few times. You're now elected to his leadership team. To score that kind of goal, I think that's more a case of put it on, put the team on your back in that situation. Put the fans on your back, and let's just get this done. Do you know what I mean? And I think after that, it was crucial control.
He outpaced defenders with the ball against Everton, but he squared it for Son to score, didn't he? I think in that game against Everton.
That one against Man United.
Yeah,
at the start of last season, when he squared it for Johnson.
Ian, and I'm thinking, game over, manage the game, we're done here, 3-0 up, and then, but 3 minutes later, Romero in his inside left position, right, getting him behind the Copenhagen defence. And he picks out Polina. And Polina don't mess about when he hits the ball, does he? No, I mean, he didn't twonk it he just did it as hard as he could, I think.
It's the sort of thing that your Tom would know, but it's stats. I mean, I don't remember with him at Fulham or at Bayern him being a particularly prodigious goal scorer. Whereas I don't know how many that is for us now. Is that 5 for us now?
Yeah,
4?
He's got a few this season, hasn't he?
VDV's got 6.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. I mean, he and Van der Ven, all right, Van der Ven, he's got. I mean, he's good in the air and what have you. But Polina seems to be scoring an inordinate amount of goals. And of course, I complain about the pivot, but he gets into the area at times. And so look, there were 4 great goals, and to win the game 2-0 with 10 men, I thought was a fabulous effort. And the fact that we stayed on the front foot, Adrian.
We did, yeah. It was, two break. It was a breakaway goal, obviously 2 breakaway goals in there. But we were all screaming for Romero to shoot, and when he passed the ball, we all think, "Oh God, is he offside?" Because we were sort of virtually in line with where Polina was when he got the ball, and it was very tight, I think. But but the funniest bit was when they kicked the ball back to his goalkeeper, just as the referees pointed to the spot. So, so the goalkeeper was looking a bit stupid, but there we go. But it was another good, good set-up pass from an unselfish player to give someone else a goal.
Well, we got 60 of you viewing us, guys, if on various platforms. If you like our content and our well-informed guests here, please subscribe to that red button in the bottom right-hand corner, okay? And thank everyone in the channel for their chat and their comments. We've still got a little bit to get through, but we won't be going on too much longer, maybe 10 minutes. Right, 70th minute, Dave. Moani comes close to getting a fifth goal. Katarski pressures in, prevents danger. Moani's a pest, isn't he? He's an absolute pest. I love him to death. I mean, he just looks a striker, doesn't he? So, I mean, even though we got Solanke, and I mean, Richarlison, see you later, mate. But I just look at all the great strikers Spurs have had in the past. We've had so many that are better than Richarlison and Solanke. Although Solanke's first season, 15 goals in all competitions, 8 in the leagues, not bad return. So, you know, we're still waiting to see if he can reproduce the goods. You know, but Moani, he looks quality to me. I want him.
Yeah, and to be honest, I was at the Villarreal game when he got his first minutes, and those 8 minutes or whatever that he got instead of, you know, when he came on the subbing for Richarlison, first thing he did, the ball gets knocked out
in the first minute. He got booked in the first minute.
Booked in the first minute, right? I'm like, cool, brilliant, right? He was booked in the first minute. I'm like, great, got a bit of energy, got a bit of something about him. And then the next thing, I think the ball was right on the touchline, and it spins up from a challenge, and he sticks his leg out and he brings it under control, shields the player off, and knocks it back. I said, yes, we're cooking with gas. That's what you want. Do you know what I mean? Someone who could just do something like that in the middle of a bit of chaos, because that's what football is. It's not always going to bounce the right way. And you know what I like? He doesn't sulk.
Yeah.
You know? I'm sick to death of seeing Richarlison sulking. You know. Listen, you might not be the world's greatest player, and you've lost a spot in the Brazil squad, or this is not going well for you, this is not going well for you, but please don't sulk. Do you know what I mean? Like, just acting like a big baby. I don't like that. So it's great that, you know, and like, going close to getting us a fifth goal. He kept going. It wasn't to be his night. Hopefully, you know, he's got a couple goals in him for the weekend. That would be nice.
Right, 72 minutes. Richardson for Mamani, fair enough. Richarlison for Mamani. 73 Spence for your doggy, Dance for Romani. I think Frank got the subs right, but he only used his main experienced subs. 80th minute, Scarlett for Odegaard, fair enough. I thought Scarlett showed more when he come on than Richarlison did in coming up in a minute. 85th minute, Richarlison crashes a header against the crossbar. He's got to get that on target.
It's a bit like Moani's in the first half, isn't it? They really should have scored. It's like I say, we could easily have had 6. I mean, we talked about the 2 Moani chances, and we're going to talk about this, and then presumably you're going to talk about the.
I'll stay with you on that actually. While we're in this thing, 90+2. Scarlett does excellently to win the penalty. I mean, he showed good aggression to keep hold of the ball. Scarlett, he's really filled out since I watched him as a 17-year-old. I like him. He's going to have a good career. Probably won't be with Spurs, but he'll have a good career. Always scores when he goes away of England. And then a penalty, Richarlison. I mean, I don't get it, Dave. You're a coach. I mean, I always said when we played football, if you're going to take the penalty, the hardest for a goalkeeper is to get down. If you hit it in the air, he's got a chance of getting to it. If you miss it, hit it low and hard. Hit it low and hard. It's got to be the hardest thing for a goalkeeper to do, to get down.
I always say it. Like any time I'm, you know, penalty shootout, whatever, whether it's with schoolboy level or older, I say, listen, low hard corners. Just, you know, when you're trying to be a bit too fancy, unless you've got the technical ability of you know, some of the greats, you know, you look at, you know, Tony or Harry Kane and others who are, they really work at their penalty technique or whatever. So they can go either side and all that stuff.
Solanke's very good as well. Penalties.
Yeah. But if you're not that, you know, just corners. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know. And for me as well, 4-0 up. The kid's just done well. He's come on, man. Just.
I mean, that was more of it to me. Because it's down our end of the pitch. Scarlett's done what he's done, and he wanted it. Scarlett, he wanted that ball, and Richarlison sort of took it from him, and you know, he was I'm the senior guy here, and we're standing there, we're thinking, oh, the guys I stand close to were saying, "Well, he better not bloody miss it now, had he?" You know, and of
Yeah,
course
yeah.
he did.
I think he's got Werner-itis, Richarlison.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, he walked straight down the tunnel at the end of the game. Didn't go round to the fans or anything, because he probably would have felt a bit of via ire from the fans, but because he went straight down the tunnel, ripped his
Call
shirt
it,
off.
call it Brandonitis. I feel like Spurs always have a player like that, don't we?
Yeah.
We're always burdened with one of those type of players.
Get all your guys' take on this. We've got stats, game management, and that's about it. Man of the match, I put 4 players up for this, but if you can think of anyone I should have added to it: Simmons, Bentancur, Romero, Van der Ven. Ian?
I thought Bentancur ran the game, and I love seeing a midfield player who just controls a football match. So yeah, Mickey. I mean, look, anyone who says Mickey's goal deserves man of the match, I'm not arguing. The other two, Simmons and Romero, played really well, but Bentancur ran the game, so Bentancur for me.
Big difference, Romero starting this game. He gives us so much more options at the back, being a passer. Dave?
Yes, Simmons for me out of those 4. To me, I think because Sarr was given those more interception, I think he was more on the ball and driving forward. But I do hear that Bentancur had a good game in terms of controlling the pace and keeping us on the front foot. Do you know what I mean? He what you didn't see from him was the classic, and this is why I've hated him the past few weeks. He gets the ball, or someone has the ball, and you just he's looking and going, pass it back to the defender, pass it back. We didn't see any of that from him or the midfielder. So any of our midfielders, I think, could have got it. But then again, when you see a special goal like that, you do understand why people start looking at other options.
Kev?
Yeah, everyone played well, I think. So I found it hard to have a standout player from where I was looking. So Simmons, Bentancur. One of the things that did impress me is that Vicario actually caught some corners.
Yeah.
He didn't have a hard shot to save, though, did he?
Yeah.
I don't think he had a shot really to save, but he did. At least he plucked a couple of corners out of the air.
I'd give it to Simmons. His touch, vision. He found space, the flicks and that. I just thought, all right, he's only on for an hour. Other than that, I'd give it to Bentancur. But I just thought we wanted to see this from him. We've seen it from Simmons, what he showed in one game before when he come in and affected the game. I think we're seeing that he is such a talent. I mean, and I think if he's given a role where he can find space and he hasn't got people, unless someone marks him and follows him all around a pitch, I think that will suit his game until he gets up to speed and he's still getting used to the pace. The same as Moani, he's still getting used to it, but he's getting there. And he's showing more at the stage he's at now, Moani, than our other strikers are. That's for sure. He's showing more. So,
yeah, I mean, Adrian, I've said this on streams before about, in our day where players were, given a year and expected to take them up to a year to really settle into a new club. And a few people in the chat have made points quite rightly about Simmons. That you look at how long it took. Modric in his first season was fairly ordinary. Bale, it took, I don't know, an inordinate amount of time for him to get going before he became, a truly world-class player. So people have got to give Simmons more than half a dozen games. I mean, seriously. But last night, he showed he's got class, real class.
well, he's on a long contract. He isn't going anywhere.
Well, that's fine.
We have a 2-year option at the end of that contract, which is what,
It's not easy when you're losing games and what have you, and he's disappearing from games, and you're losing to, drawing with Wolves and losing to Aston Villa and what have you. But last night I think he gave a glimpse of what he can do, and I think I think we've got an exciting future. It would just be good if we didn't have so many people getting injured.
Well, just some stats, guys. We had 61% to their 39%. Shots on target 6-4. Total 14-12. Duels 52%, 48%. Fouls 10-11. Corners. Now this is the bit for me. The press, the tackling. We forced them into lots of errors, winning the ball back, didn't we? When we did win the ball back a lot when we gave it away. Clearances 17-20, 9 passes, see the difference in pass accuracy. Ours was 8, which is why they were giving the ball away and crosses. So the stats were there, yeah. So just a tackling stat there impresses me because our press worked yesterday. Because as Kev alluded to earlier, that they couldn't get out in the first half. They couldn't get out of the half, right? So, and that was all because. And credit to Sarah for that as well, yeah. Game management. How do you think Frank did for this game, Dave?
Yeah, I think he did well. Got the lineup, spot on. I think allowed the boys to play. The handbrake was off, and I think all due respect to the opposition, they weren't at the level where the handbrake was needed. But at the same time, giving them the license to do that, and even when he made the changes, and then we went to 3-0 up, just giving them saying, what, there's something here, we can maybe just be still a bit more expressive, bringing Scarlett on, even just giving them that last 10 minutes some bit more joy and freedom, even with 10 players. So I really liked what I saw from him, and even his pre and post match comments. He's not afraid to poke fun at himself. Talking about obviously Mickey walking past him. He's like, look, if he's going to be doing that but scoring goals, I don't mind. Give me clean sheets and a goal and whatnot. Be our best player. Brilliant. I think he's managed the injuries well. Let's see what he can do about these midfield profiles and get that spot on for United. And let's see if we can keep our good run against them. I don't think they've beaten us since COVID.
Kev, Frank's took a bit of stick. We gave him loads of stick after the Chelsea game. So what's your take?
Yeah. So I didn't see the Chelsea game, so I couldn't comment about that one. But last night he did the right things, didn't he? He did when Johnson got sent off. He looked to conserve the game by bringing Palhinha on, and then of course we managed to score 2 more goals anyway. And I think you're right. Yeah, giving certain people rests when he did, with Saturday's game in mind. I think you can't moan about any of the subs that he made. Everyone who came on, apart from maybe one, did well. So yeah, he managed it well. I don't think there was any doubts about that.
Ian, last word from you on Frank before I close.
Absolutely. I've been his critic when he's been bad. Last night against Everton, he was superb. Last night, he was superb. I have 2 words to say to Thomas Frank, and neither of them are off. Be brave.
Yeah, be bold. Okay. Well, this is the situation, guys. Spurs are 7th in the Champions League table.
Adrian, I've got a very early start tomorrow, so I'm going to knock off here if that's okay.
Right, that's fine. We're closing anyway.
We're going out live. I'm driving to London tomorrow. It's always a bitch of a drive. 9:30. I'll see you on
Sunday.
on Saturday.
Yeah, I'll be doing a show Friday.
Dave, always great to have you on the show, and everybody in the chat. I'll be doing a Man United review on at 9:30. We agreed at compromise time.
Yeah, it's all set up.
9:30 on
Sunday.
Sunday night. So that's ideal, and I'll let you to go over the other bits. We're 10th, by the way, now in 6th in the Premier League, but we're 10th in.
After tonight's game,
10th in the that needs updating. We're 10th in the Champions League table, which is fine, and we're 5 points clear of the teams in 25th place. So all looking good. But I will go there, guys, and I will catch up with you at the weekend.
I'll see you at the game anyway, Ian.
You will see me at the game. And you, Kev. Take care.
And Dave, he wants to meet us there. Right, so Spurs are 10th in the table with a +5 goal difference. 4 games left to play. PSG away, which is the toughest, obviously. Slavia Prague at home, they were getting spanked yesterday. Borussia Dortmund were getting spanked tonight by Man City, weren't they? They were 2-0 down at half-time. I don't know how that game finished.
4-1.
All right. And Eintracht Frankfurt, I'm not sure how well they're doing, but we beat them away last year. We beat them away last 2 times. Right? In fact, they were the last team to beat us in a European game about 22 games ago, because in the last 21 games, I think we won 17 and drawn 4. Don't ask me why I remember this stuff, right? So, so that's the setup. With that, I want to thank my guests, Dave and Kevin, and fellow co-host and owner, Ian. I want to thank everyone in the chat for your comments and questions. I want to thank the 60 odd of you still viewing us on various platforms out there. Like I said before, if you like the content, please hit that red subscribe button in the bottom right corner. We can't see it. Give the video a thumbs up, like I say, and subscribe to the channel. We do memberships at $1.99. You can do super stickers and super chats if you want to get your questions in on our shows. If you want to come on a show, you've just got to contact us through either XCOM or WhatsApp or other means. Give us your phone numbers and that, so we can add you to the WhatsApp group. And then, because we use the WhatsApp group as a sync to get guests on, and all are welcome. We pride ourselves on being mature and sensible and a very fact-based Spurs group, right? Don't laugh at the mature and sensible, right? Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. Any big thanks to you all, and a very big up to everyone who watches on playback. Any last words, Dave?
Listen, on to Man United. Let's keep the run going. I'm actually looking forward to that game. I won't be there in person, but midday, 12:30. Let's get the weekend started with a good, confident win at home, and keep some momentum going into the break. Yeah, I feel positive about it. Yeah, I'm happy now.
Kev, any last words?
Yeah, no, I echo what Dave's just said about Saturday. Looking forward to going there. And I'll be interested to see how many of those players we do actually have back available for the game against Woolwich after the international break, because the rumour is that most of them will be back available. You know, a lot of the ones have been out for recently. So we'll see. Yeah,
we'll see. And like, without going into the Man United game, obviously he can go with the strongest, fittest players he thinks possible, because there is, like you say, the break. So we just want to come through it injury-free. With that, I want to thank you all again. I'll see you two guys in the back room. I'll play you out with a bit of soul music, Spurs Darts, and I'll end the stream. And we'll see you Friday at 10 o'clock UK, because I have American guests on them. We cater a bit more for their time zone. Okay, so with that, thank you all for your loyal support. And with that, I'm going to end the show.
We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul. Lily white and navy blue.